Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Priscilla Obasi. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. Now the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has permanently abolished the controversial 5% exercise duty on telecommunications services, a move aimed at easing financial pressures on consumers and businesses in Nigeria's digital economy. The announcement was made by the Executive Vice Chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission, Aminu Maida, during a media briefing in Abuja. Maida confirmed that the excise levy, initially suspended in 2023, has now been officially removed under revised national tax laws. The resident electoral commissioner of the Federal Capital Territory, Aminu Idris, has urged residents to take advantage of the ongoing online continuous voters registration exercise ahead of the FCT area council elections slated for February 2026. Topsy Gimba brings us more.
Appearing as a guest on Face the Fact, a news and current affairs program in Abuja, the FCT resident electoral commissioner Aminu Idris described the response to the online continuous voter registration as impressive. According to him, many young Nigerians who recently turned 18 should embrace the opportunity on the very first day of the exercise. Idris expressed confidence that the exercise in the FCT will also record great success.
We have started the process. I think it's going to be done in phases. The Commission announced that it will be phase 1 will start from 18th August to 10th December 2025. That's the phase 1. After the phase 1, there will be a display for people to come and check whether their names, their age, and everything is captured properly. And then, of course, the cards will be produced for that phase 1.
He warned against multiple registrations, noting that the system has built-in checks to detect and nullify such attempts, describing them as efforts in futility.
We start slow with this type of process. As we are getting to the terminal dates, people all come out. It is normal. We have experienced this so many times. The turnout usually increases and you get to the end of the period provided for the exercise. Yes. So we expect that and we are planning for that.
Now, the resident electoral commissioner also assured Global Televisions of INEC's continued partnership in ensuring electoral messages reach the grassroots. Topsy Gimba, Global Television News.
In a related development, Kano State Government has approved the formation of Mobilization Task Force on voter registration to encourage citizens to participate fully in the ongoing voters registration exercise. The announcement was made in a statement released by Musa Tanko Mohammed, Press Secretary to the Office of the Secretary to the State Government. The state government noted that the task force will formally inaugurated by the Secretary to the State Government at a later date and is to be chaired by the State Commissioner for Information and Internal Affairs, Ibrahim Weida. Proper sanitation and environmental hygiene have been identified as critical factors in preventing the spread of Lassa fever. Dr. Aisha Landan Musa of Federal Medical Center Abuja, who made this known in an exclusive interview with Global Television, emphasized that the best protection remains simple hygiene and public awareness. Our correspondent, Zara Nasiru, has details.
Lassa fever is an acute viral illness and hemorrhagic fever caused by the Lassa virus. It is endemic to parts of West Africa, particularly Nigeria, Guinea, Sierra Leone, and Liberia. The virus is primarily transmitted to humans through contact with the urine or feces of infected multimate rats or through direct contact with an infected person's bodily fluids. Dr. Aisha Ladam Musa of Federal Medical Center Abuja explained that raising community awareness and educating people on how the disease is transmitted remains essential strategies in reducing infections. The doctor said the greatest knowledge is knowing how to prevent Lassa fever, not just how to cure it.
The prevention goes beyond we individual. It starts from awareness. Okay, so the most important thing in Lassa fever is community awareness. We have to inform educate the people on mode of transmission, the causal organism, and how it is transmitted from one to another. Because the greatest knowledge is how to prevent, is not how to cure. Yes, so outside that, also environmental and environmental factors also play a role, like sanitation.
In Abuja, some residents said they are already taking preventive measures by covering their food, maintaining good hygiene, and keeping rats away from their homes.
I know Lassa fever is a disease that causes harm to the human immune system. By making sure you are staying in a clean environment, because it's being transmitted by rats. So if you are living in an environment that is very dirty, they would easily have access to your environment, and then they would easily...
I know it's a disease caused by rodents that comes out of rat and it's related from the rat class. Avoiding deaths, because they come around deaths, they come, and when the time they also come around deaths, they feed on your food that you keep in your kitchen or wherever on your dining, and then you also have to also protect yourself from your dispenser.
I know it's one of the deadly fever that keep people fast, and I know it's introduced from rats. And not keeping our food very well, but not covering our food store or other things.
Public health issues pose a huge challenge in Nigeria, putting more pressure on the country's already overstretched healthcare systems. However, the outbreak of Lassa fever has further complicated the situation. Zahra Unasir, reporting for Global TV News.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, says the various challenges facing soldiers will be addressed squarely. He noted that with the support of the President Bola Tinubu-led federal government, concerted efforts are on to make life better for soldiers and their families. Oluyede stated this while answering questions from newsmen at the end of a 3-day visit of the headquarters of the Nigerian Army 6th Division in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. Hundreds of rice farmers in Yauri, Ngasi, and Shanga local government areas of Kebbi State have been thrown into despair following a devastating flood that washed away farmlands worth millions of naira. The flood, triggered by an overflow of the river Niger coupled with heavy rainfall, has submerged vast acres of rice fields, dashing the hopes of farmers who had invested heavily in anticipation of a bumper harvest. In Imo State, Governor Hope Uzodinma says his administration remains committed to delivering quality infrastructure. The governor gave the assurance while inspecting key projects in Owerri, including Concord Hilton Hotel, Emmanuel Nwanyuwa International Conference Center, and the Assumpta Flyover. Imo State correspondent Amarachi Ibe completes the story.
At the Concord Hilton Hotel, Governor Uzodinma noted that reconstruction work is already transforming the facility into a modern hospitality landmark. He stressed that the project, once completed, will significantly raise hospitality standards in the state.
I'm almost sure that before the month of November, the hotel will be ready for servicing and open to the public, which to me is a very big achievement because Imo people are very happy and excited with the recovery of this facility, and what is more, attracting a world-class chain like Hilton Hotels to manage the hotel. I think it is okay.
The governor also visited the Emmanuel Iwanyan International Conference Center and the Asanta Flyover. He highlighted milestones achieved at the conference center and pointed to the steady progress on the flyover superstructure, drainage, and access road. He applauded contractors for maintaining both quality and timelines.
The center is world class. You also you saw for yourself the quality of construction demonstrated at the flyover at Assumpta roundabout. So, and what is more, that the job is being completed within record time is also very encouraging. we'll do more. We need to recover and address all the infrastructural gaps that exist in Imo State so that we can have a very robust economy that will really lead to prosperity we appreciate.
Governor Uzodimma appreciates the sustained support from the federal government, saying that Imo State is on a course to witness a new phase of development, thereby improving lives of its residents. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe reporting for Global TV News.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. When News Cycle returns, monsoon rain kills over 400 in Pakistan, sweeps away villages. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Thank you very much for staying with us. If you're just tuning in, this is News Cycle on Global Television. Now we are in the business news. Procurement delays, worsening insecurity, and rising cost of goods and services have emerged as major reasons several state governments failed to meet their capital expenditure targets in the first 6 months of 2025. Findings from states' second quarter budget implementation reports indicate that capital spending across many states remained significantly below expectations despite ambiguous budgetary provisions designed to accelerate infrastructure goals. A fresh breakdown of state government expenditure between January and June 2025 showed that 31 states collectively disbursed 2.75 trillion naira for capital projects. Report in a publication by the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission indicates that over 3.5 billion barrels of oil and condensate reserves are locked in underdeveloped fields across different basins in Nigeria. At the current average price of $65 per barrel, the reserves are valued at about $227.5 billion, translating to a staggering 341.25 trillion naira when converted at the exchange rate of 1,500 naira to a dollar. The 2025 budget has a deficit of over 13 trillion naira. The fiscal plan makes provisions for 13.64 trillion naira in recurrent expenditure, 23.96 trillion naira for capital projects, 14.32 trillion naira for debt servicing, and 3.65 trillion for statutory transfers. In a move to strengthen Nigeria's economic fundamentals, the Ministry of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, has held a strategic meeting with the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Dr. Olayemi Cardoso, in Abuja. The Director of Information and Public Relations of the Federal Ministry of Finance, Mohammed Manga, in a statement in Abuja indicated that the Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zach Adedeji, was also in attendance. The engagement focused on deepening coordination between monetary and fiscal authorities to sustain macroeconomic stability, strengthen investor confidence, and unlock private sector growth. Now we'll go to the foreign scene where more than 20 people have died in a torrential spell of monsoon rain in Pakistan, where downpours have swept away entire villages over the last week, killing more than 400. The National Disaster Management Authority says 11 people died in the touristic northern region of Gilgit, Baltistan, and 10 others in Karachi, the financial capital of the south, due to urban flooding that caused house collapses and electrocution. Schools remain closed in the city of more than 20 million as the Meteorological Department predicted more rains till Saturday. Moving on, Russia has launched a fresh broadside at Europe's landing of the Ukraine conflict. Moscow's top diplomat, Sergei Lavrov, accused European leaders of failing to present constructive ideas during a high-level meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky earlier this week. Mukhtar Qasim reports.
The Brussels summit brought together key European heads of state who had hoped to win Trump's backing for tougher action against Moscow, but the Russian foreign minister dismissed those efforts as little more than political theater. Lavrov accused European government of prioritizing pressure campaigns over meaningful diplomacy. He said the talks showed Europe was more interested in aligning Washington with its position than in finding real solution to the fighting.
Здесь мы пока видим только достаточно агрессивное нагнетание обстановки, достаточно неуклюжие и, в общем-то, такие неэтичные попытки изменить позицию администрации Трампа и лично президента Соединенных Штатов, как мы это наблюдали во время сопровождения европейцами господина Зеленского в Вашингтон. Вот, в понедельник на этой неделе мы там не услышали никаких конструктивных идей из уст европейцев.
Lavrov's sharp word underlined a growing diplomatic rift, while Europe insists unity with Washington is vital to counter Russian aggression. Moscow claims Western leaders are unwilling to address its own security concerns. Analysts say the remarks reflect a long-standing Kremlin strategy, portraying Europe as divided, weak, and overly dependent on the United States. It is a narrative Russia hopes will undermine Western solidarity as the war drags on. Mukhtar Qasim, reporting for Global Television News.
Belgium says significant progress has not been made in efforts to resolve the conflict between the Democratic Republic of Congo and M23 rebels. During his visit to Kinshasa, the Congolese capital, Belgium's foreign minister highlighted the lack of progress in peace process between the M23 armed group and the Democratic Republic of Congo, which he noted is devastating the eastern part of the country. Mediator Qatar said the Democratic Republic of Congo and the M23 militia have not backed out of their peace process despite missing a deadline for an agreement. Uyi Abomufwebe completes this report.
The Congolese government and the Rwanda-backed M23 had signed a ceasefire agreement in July aimed at leading to a permanent end to the fighting that has devastated the DRC's mineral-rich but conflict-torn east. Under the terms of the deal, which followed talks in Qatar, the parties were to begin peace talks on August 8 and finalize an agreement by August 18. However, neighboring Rwanda denies providing military backing to the M23 rebel group, but United Nations experts say the Rwanda army played a critical role in the group's offensive, including combat operations. Uyi Agmofwebe, reporting for Global TV News.
In sports, as Roma have signed Jamaican international winger Leon Burley on loan from Aston Villa, the Serie A club said. In a statement, Roma said that they have an option to make Bailey one-year loan move permanent, reportedly for a fee of €22 million, $25.6 million, 19 million euro. Bailey, 28 years, arrives in Italy after 4 years in Aston Villa, where he scored 22 goals in 144 appearances. Still in sports, Fluminense goalkeeper Fabio Michel has claimed the record for most competitive appearance in men's football when the Brazilian played for an 1,391st time. The 44-year-old on Saturday equaled the landmark held by former England stopper Peter Shilton, and Fabio has now gone on better following a 2-0 win over Colombia's American De Cali at the Maracana in Rio de Janeiro. World Wrestling Entertainment WWE superstar Naomi Trinity Fatu, a two-time women's world champion famed for her Feel the Glow persona, has announced she is expecting her first child with husband Jimmy Uso. The couple, who have been together for over a decade and married, shared the news during the Night Raw in August 2025. The Philadelphia crowd erupted as Naomi placed her women's world championship belt in the ring, confirming she would relinquish the title due to her pregnancy. And that is it on Global TV News Cycle. And a quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using the handle @GlobalTVNG. I am Priscilla Obasi. Thank you very much for watching. Good evening.